American dream no longer exists, especially when there are significant disparities between the US and other countries.
A lot of people my age are choosing not to have children just because of the state of both of these things over here. I explained that even if you can afford to feed a child, the pregnancy alone can cost tens of thousands of dollars, and if you can't afford to pay that, then the state can just take your baby away.
I just went to the grocery store, bought 10 items, and it was $80 freaking already. I literally have $10 left on my account.
What if the old American dream was a lie?
When I was their age, I was making less than $10 an hour, and I could afford to live on my own. Now you have to be making six-figure salary to get a decent, tiny little place to live.
The American dream, once seen as the promise of opportunity and success, is now being questioned. Many feel it has become unattainable due to rising costs, stagnant wages, and economic inequality. While some believe the dream was always a myth, others argue it is evolving into new forms, such as minimalist lifestyles and alternative definitions of success. The debate continues, leaving us to ask, is the American dream still alive, or was it never real to begin with?
Listen, if you still want to come to America because you believe in the American dream, let me tell you something. That dream died like 30 plus years ago, and now we're living in a dream that involves paying $10 for a dozen of shitty fucking eggs, paying $2,000 a month for an apartment in the ghetto that's about 700 square feet and it has no walls. And then if you want to go to university here, you're looking at around $100,000 for a 4-year education. That's on the low end. But in those 4 years, you might get shot because everyone seems to want to shoot each other for some ungodly reason. Then you're going to graduate thinking, oh, I graduated, I have a degree now, I'm going to get a good job. Your good job is going to pay you about $40,000 starting off, maybe, and then they're going to say you're going to work 40 hours a week, when in reality you're going to be working about 50 plus hours a week because they're going to guilt trip you in by saying, we're a family, we're a team, we help each other. And they're not going to pay you overtime for that because why would they? If they get your help for free, why would they pay you for that? Okay? Then there's no work-life balance. That company you're working for now doesn't want to give you vacation days until like maybe your second year working there. And those vacation days are maybe 4 days out of the whole entire year. That includes holidays. All right. Then if you're sick, too bad you still have to come to work. Okay. Then if you want to buy groceries, your groceries are going to be your whole entire paycheck because no one can afford to eat here anymore. Got it? I go to the grocery store for 4 things. It's like $50. I'm just saying it sucks living here. I don't want to live here. I want to leave. So maybe you should rethink your whole American dream because it's not what it's all cracked up to be.
What if the old American dream was a lie? What if us not being able to afford to buy homes is here to serve us? So that way we're not locked in and trapped like our parents were. It was buy this house, get this job. For some of them, they have been miserable since they were 30. And now they're 60, still doing the same miserable thing.
I'm really stressed today. I just went to the grocery store, bought 10 items, and it was $80 freaking already. I literally have $10 left on my account. So a little backstory. I got laid off from my job a month ago. And I've been applying for jobs months before I got laid off. Sent out hundreds of resumes already. Applied to hundreds of jobs on the internet, remote and on-site. Tailored my resume to every position that I applied using ChatGPT. Went to only a few interviews and still nothing. Like, what the f is going on with America right now? Like, it's so freaking hard to live here. Like, I'm gonna stay positive. I'm gonna keep applying for jobs. I'm gonna keep showing up. But man, my bills are not going to wait.
Consider this. In the 1950s, owning a home and supporting a family on a single income was achievable for many. Fast forward to today, and the same goals seem out of reach for millions. The cost of living has skyrocketed, while wages have failed to keep pace.
I am so tired of feeling helpless as a parent. Yes, my kids are grown adults. My oldest is 28, my youngest is 25. And I thought by teaching them what I learned, which is you work hard, you get a good job, you're going to get the things in life that you need, right? Worked for me. Why wouldn't it work for them? Because it doesn't. Because the world has fucking changed, all right? And now I feel like I see them struggling. And before my generation comes at me, yes, I understand struggling is a part of life. We all struggled. But there's a difference between struggling and drowning, all right? So we struggled and it was tough. But you know what? We made it. We knew there was a light at the end of the tunnel with our struggle. It seems like kids today, no matter how much they struggle, they just get further and further down the water into the drowning point. All right. When I was their age, I was making less than $10 an hour, and I could afford to live on my own. Now you have to be making six-figure salary to get a decent, tiny little place to live. So what the fuck is going on, and how do we help them as parents? I told my son, all you have to do is work hard, go to college or join the military like I did. He went to college, got his degree, got a full-time job. He moved back in with me right when he graduated from college because he said, hey, Mom, as soon as I get a job, which was within 2 weeks of him getting out of college, maybe take me 2 months and I'll save up enough money for me to move out. Okay, cool. It's been 10 months. He has saved almost every dime and still can't afford to live. Why are one-bedroom studio apartments almost $2,000 a month? Why? Like, I just don't get it. So I don't even think that there's even classes anymore. There used to be, upper class, middle class, lower class. It's literally turning into the ultra wealthy, and then everybody else is just poor. Like, that's what it's happening. And then I told him, hey, when you turn 25, at least your car insurance will go down. Hell no, he turned 25 and his car insurance went up $150. I tell him, if you need health insurance, get a good job. He has health insurance. He has had a medical emergency this week. Had to go to emergency room twice. He had to go to the emergency room because he couldn't get anybody to see him with the health insurance that he had. Right? So he had to go to an emergency room. Now he's out money for that too. It seems like you can never get ahead. And then my daughter, I told her all you have to do because she wanted to buy her own house. My daughter worked 6 days a week, 12 hours a day to save up enough for this down payment. Finally got this house. She's paying double what I'm paying for my mortgage, but her loan was the same amount. And then her mortgage company, after she's already moved in, said, oh, by the way, we forgot to tell you that you need this type of coverage, which we forgot in the beginning. That's an extra $200 you've been paying a month. And all they see when they come home is they watch social media, kids their age on lavish vacations with all this money and nothing to do, all these social media influencers, because we value those types of things over hard workers. We will pay them $10,000, but you work 40 hours a week, you can't afford it.
Just had a really long conversation with someone that lives in rural China, and oh my god. They had a lot of questions about the way things work for poor people in the United States, and so the conversation started asking about land and whether or not we were allotted a specific amount of land for farming when we're born. I had to explain that no, you either had to be independently wealthy to acquire land for farming, or if you were lucky, your parents were wealthy and you would inherit their land when they died. Apparently over there they just lend you land for you to grow food. Then the conversation turned over to healthcare and education, and I explained that a lot of people my age are choosing not to have children just because of the state of both of these things over here. I explained that even if you can afford to feed a child, the pregnancy alone can cost tens of thousands of dollars, and if you can't afford to pay that, then the state can just take your baby away. She asked me where the babies went when they get taken away, and I had to explain the privatized adoption industry to her. No, this isn't me coming on here saying Chinese government good, Chinese government unproblematic. That's not what I'm saying. But horrified does not even begin to cover the feeling that was expressed to me from her. Y'all, the corn over here is 5 times more expensive than over there. We grew the corn. I live less than 30 miles from the fields where 1/3 of America's vegetables and 3/4 of America's fruits are produced, and I cannot afford to eat them. Y'all.
The American dream no longer exists, especially when there are significant disparities between the U.S. and other countries. Mickey D's in the U.S. employee makes $9 an hour with no benefits. The Big Mac costs $5.81. The same Mickey D's employee in Denmark makes $22 an hour, 6 weeks vacation, 1 year paid maternity leave. 1 year. Where do you get that anywhere in the U.S.? That's unheard of. Maybe 3 months max. Life insurance, a pension plan, and the Big Mac only cost $4.82. The math ain't mathing. It ain't adding up. Feel like with this whole American dream, we've been hoodwinked. We have been bamboozled. We have been scammed into believing that it exists, and it does not. Okay? The people, all you people from other countries who want to come here, don't do it. The dream is false. Okay? There's so many better places you can go to besides here. All right? You don't want to come here. We're living in an episode of Scandal over here. Our politics are in the gutter, okay? We had an orange for a president. I mean, come on. Come on. Don't do it. I'm trying to save you some time and some effort and some heartache.
One thing that I did not expect to happen in January 2025 is seeing all of these Americans on TikTok after being on Red Note or Red Books or whatever it's called, coming to the realization that America isn't everything that they've been led to believe, and realizing that we, in the rest of the world, we don't necessarily perceive them how they think that we do. And they love saying things like America is the leader on the world stage and it's the best country in the world and blah, 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 and whatever. And it's like so many of them think that everybody else thinks that, and they're just coming to the realization that that really isn't the case, like at all, like at all. And realizing that most other developed countries like have some form of universal healthcare or whatever it is. There's just a lot of videos on my timeline of Americans being like, what we've been told isn't entirely accurate, is it? What we've been led to believe that is happening in other countries isn't entirely accurate, is it? And it's like, it's not funny, yeah, it's not funny, but it was also a little bit funny, innit? Because what did you guys think was happening? What did you think we thought? What did you think everybody else thought about you? You really thought everyone was over here like, yeah, we love America. America's the best. Bro, it's not the 90s, bro. It's not the 90s. We know. But yeah, no, I'm not laughing at you. I'm not. But it's refreshing. It is somewhat refreshing, I'm not gonna lie. I don't know, man, like a lot of you, respectfully, have been quite deluded into believing that everyone like looks at America like, oh, we don't. And everywhere else ain't the slums. Like it's not like America's like this shining beacon and everywhere else is the slums. It's really not the case. Anyway, the circus continues. Hopefully the Great Awakening continues, and hopefully we are on the path towards, I don't know actually what we're on the path towards. There's too many mad things going on, but hopefully there's something beautiful on the horizon.
We left the United States and moved to Senegal, West Africa, a year and a half ago now, almost 2 years, and it's been the best decision living abroad. So the kids are on Christmas break. So we are at an Airbnb in an hour and a half outside the city, and it is beautiful. I'm about to give y'all the view. My husband is splashing like a whale in the water. Let's see. So we came out here with all 5 kids, hubby, my mom, the kids' grandma, our nanny, our cook, our good friend, and her sons. But I say all that to say, sometimes the American dream is making your money in America, having your business, maybe working remotely, having your passive income stream, some real estate, some investments, and living in another country or on another continent. Don't limit yourself to feeling like your best life is only where you've grown up. Sometimes your best life is on the other side of the world. Sometimes your best life is a 10-hour flight away, okay? And you can always go back to the US, right? I go back and forth, but this quality of life, the experiences that I can have and that I can give my kids, it's not in America. At least not right now. At least not while the naked mole rat is in office. Yeah. Come on out here, guys. Come on.
This textbook analyzes the American dream from a German perspective. I wanted to read you a particularly powerful paragraph. One thing that it continually asks students to do is to analyze the persistence of the myth of the American dream, especially in light of the fact that, quote, that for many Americans there is no more chance of ever making it. The examples of eminent Americans from the past and the recent present help to explain the major function of the American dream. It is a national myth which connects the present to the past and which also contains a promise for the future. The myth is that it is within the scope of every individual to uplift himself or herself, to move up the social and economic ladder, and partake in the endless opportunities. It's in quotes. The function of the American dream may then be summarized as follows. It establishes role models for the ordinary man or woman and thus upholds current social beliefs and structures. In other words, pretending like the American dream exists functions to keep things the way that they are.
In the last few years, I have watched America completely shatter my idea of what being American actually means. I'm the child of Chinese immigrants. My parents moved to America before coming to Canada and having me, and the idea of America entrenched in our brains was this idea of truly wealth and freedom and endless opportunity. Whatever you could dream, you could do, you could get, you could buy. But now clearly that is not the case, and so many, the vast majority of Americans are really struggling. What's the point of being the wealthiest nation in the world when the average citizen is living paycheck to paycheck and basic necessities are out of reach? Where having a family feels like a luxury. It's just such a mind fuck. Like, as a Canadian, you always grow up kind of being in the shadow of America. It's like having a neighbor who lives in a giant mansion, like the nicest mansion in the entire town. And everybody tells you about how amazing that house is and how beautiful it is on the inside. And everybody living inside is really happy and really rich. But then you learn that actually the people living inside that beautiful house are all really struggling and oppressed, and all the money that they work hard to earn goes to the owner of the house, and everyone else living in it are basically indentured servants. And you know, I'm over here in Canada across the street. Like, my house isn't as pretty and it's not as famous as your house, but the whole image, the whole American dream as an outsider, as a Chinese Canadian, is just like shattered. It's actually really heartbreaking. Of course Canada has its problems. Don't even get me started on Polyev. Oh my god, he's Trump Jr. incoming. Oh god. Just growing up with both the Canadian and Chinese sides of me, really venerating and romanticizing this idea of the American dream, it turns out American exceptionalism actually is a myth. We're all struggling around the world. In the club, we all working class.
The American dream has long been a symbol of hope and opportunity, but today, it faces unprecedented challenges. Whether it's dead, evolving, or just out of reach, the conversation is far from over. What do you think? Is the American dream still alive, or was it always just an illusion? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more thought-provoking content. Thanks for watching.